Hey guys, it's Debbie Potts, and I am doing another. I think I have like 10 or more of these solo podcast videos on the YouTube channel and on my audio podcast channel released on Thursdays about how to fuel and train for the endurance athlete. The slide says low carb athlete, but I want to help you, the endurance athlete. There's a lot of athletes that are doing too much of everything. We're overtraining, over fasting, under eating, and I get them coming to me trying to get help because they're struggling trying to get results. And we do lab testing and figure out what's missing. So if you don't know what my why is, I'm going to be talking a lot about this because 10 years ago, 2013, suddenly it's 10 years ago, freaking scary. I was top athlete 2012 in my age group, racing Ironmans and half Ironman distance, full Ironman distance, and marathons and 50K trail runs. And I did Boston Marathon multiple times. My best time was a 3:12. I did another Boston Marathon. I did 3:17. And my half marathons, I was at 1:35, 1:33, I think was my best. And I only say that. I don't brag in my book that I wrote Life is Not a Race, It's a Journey. I am saying that because I've not seen that since. Ever since 2013, I've been broken and burned out my body systems. I've never been the same. And this is emotional time because I want to race. I want to do at least Olympic distance races. I'd love to do marathon. I'd love to do a 50K trail run and a half marathon and have speed, have power. And it's not because I'm suddenly 51 years old. I am embracing the aging process and changing how I train, but my body systems, we don't know what comes first, chicken or the egg, but when you have chronic stress from external way we live life, say as a race, not as a journey, but what happens to us internally is a domino effect that if I have hyperadrenal, high cortisol so long, then I get to be empty, depleted, and I have low cortisol production. That's going to be when I have low adrenals, I'm going to have probably thyroid issues, low thyroid. And then you have this whole other domino effect of gut issues, leaky gut, poor stomach acid, then we're going to have dysbiosis and then have parasites and blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. And then mold toxicity, just everything. So my mission this year is to help more of you endurance athletes that are driven, ambitious, high performing athletes trying to get the desired results to get faster, get better recovery, to get leaner, to get stronger, to burn fat, to be that fat adapted athlete, whatever your goal is, and you're struggling, you can't get there. A lot of times I'm finding when we run functional lab tests, and not just one, we need to do 3 to 5 labs to get the whole picture of what's going on internally, correlate that data I collect, those clues to your external habits, your lifestyle, your exercise training program, your nutrition program, your time you're eating and time not eating, your fasting, and looking at your sleep and how you're dealing with daily stress. This is the holistic method. So on my podcast, Low Carb Athlete, it's not about zero carbs. It's about finding the best nutrient dense food plan for you based on your genetics, based on your lifestyle, based on your exercise training program, your sleep schedule, really dialing it in, figuring out your macros. And then the female athlete with hormones, we need to dial it in even more by the week of each month. So it is not one size fits all. It is a combination of these elements, exercise and nutrition and functional lab test assessments, figure out what supplements you need, figure out that protocol that's best for you. So you're not overtraining and under recovered and undernourished and having all sorts of problems. So if you're not feeling yourself and you're trying everything, there's something missing. And it's really important to realize it is an N=1 experiment. I learned myself Goldilocks effect, not too much, not too little, the right amount for you to get more benefit, to get faster, to get stronger. It's not the same for everybody. So we need to mix it up, but it's also our mindset. Powerful mind is really important. So that's what I do, and that's what I'm talking about in this show. I just want to dive back into fasting because I just had a call with someone that got me fired up that, working with more and more athletes that are fasting 16, 18 hours because that's what we hear. And I did the same thing until the last couple of years. I realized I was doing too much fasting and I was doing too much OMAD. And if you're trying to train and work out fasted all the time, we are creating more stress in our body. If you're already stressed because your life, because your relationship with someone, maybe you lost a family member, and then you're not digesting your food, so you have stress inside your body, and all sorts of other issues are going to happen as a result of poor digestion. So testing and not guessing, testing your HRV. If you're not wearing an Oura ring, use HRV Elite, use a Bluetooth heart rate monitor, get the best results, and track your heart rate variability. Are you recovering and repairing from your workouts? Are you doing too much fasted exercise? And maybe you feel great like I do. I can sometimes not eat for hours, but then I realize, ooh, this isn't probably good for me. My body's already in stress mode. I need to give it some calories. If, it's not going to be sugar and crap. It's going to give me some calories so my body knows it's safe. It's okay. We're not in emergency state. So low carb, keto, carnivore, animal-based diet, what those macros look like for you are going to be changing. For a female with hormone cycle going luteal phase and around ovulation, we need to have more healthy sources of carbohydrates that feed our estrogen and feed our progesterone. So really look at men and women, when to eat, when to break a fast, when to have some nutrition. But the main thing is it's nutrient dense whole foods that are not from a package. You're eating foods that are local in season and getting enough protein throughout the day, as Dr. Gabrielle Lyon talks about, that ideal body weight, whatever your ideal body weight is, in grams of protein spread out through evenly distributed through the day is what she talks about. So just to talk about, taking care of the whole you from the inside out, drinking mineral rich water. I like almond tea, the unsweetened without the stevia flavors in it. I think we have too much stevia. I think getting rid of sweetness still gives you sweet. So have some minerals in your water, but don't have sweet water, sweet everything. Earthing, grounding, walking around, ideally barefoot on the grass, on the beach, getting out sunlight in the morning and all that. So important. So common fueling myths we've talked about, that do you have to eat right away? Pre-nutrition, what to eat, when to eat. So basically, all this is in ebooks on my website, free to you. All these slides are put into a book. And obviously, like I say, I need some spell check on here again, but go to debbiepotts.net, free resources, and you can get these slides for you to read them. So I'm skipping around again. But do we need to eat? Women, we may do perform our best if we eat something. Men, performance gains, what Ben Greenfield said in a podcast I've dove into multiple times, performance gains to eat in the next workout. If you need to eat, if you're going to work out with the next 8 hours, then you want to refuel after that workout session. I'm going to move my little video. I don't know if you can see my head's covering the words, but do you need to eat after workout? It depends. If you fasted 8 to 12 hours over overnight fast, exercise in the morning, fasted, then it might be beneficial to eat post-workout meal, getting your protein in there. Now, you can sometimes, as I said, women might do better. Stacy Sims talks about having a little bit of calories before they work out may even improve your fat burning. So I give that. It's a bonus to me. I could add something to my coffee as Laird's superfood fuel. I was doing pumpkin spice and have some calories. I'm good. It tastes better than black coffee. So I'm happy to be able to have some calories, but still burn fat. And you have to ask yourself, if you're fasting all the time, and I did this to myself, am I getting faster? Am I stronger? Is this serving me well? If you feel like, oh yeah, I can fast for 3 hours on a long bike ride at first thing in the morning and not eat anything but salted water, well, What's your speed like? What's your performance level? Are you getting faster at that lower heart rate? Maybe you could use some nutrition. So sometimes you have to ask, what is my goal? Why am I doing this fasted workout? Cell autophagy, it's that 17, 18 hour or longer, but is that necessary for you if you're exercising? Maybe we need to do 17 to 18 fast. Ideally, once a month, do a 24-hour meal to meal fast without exercising that day, except for movement as walking, low, easy, low intensity. So you want to time your workouts, time your fasting when appropriate, look at the hormone cycle for women, but have it on a rest day. So you can do 24 hours fast. But pre-nutrition is not always needed if you ate 2 to 3 hours before. So say, like we were talking before another show, that if you ate breakfast and you work out at 9 a.m., you still have food in your stomach. So you don't need to eat right before the workout. If you add lunch and then you're working out at say 4 o'clock, you don't need to eat right before the workout. If you are doing a fasted morning workout and then you're going to work out again, like in the mornings, I'll train 5:30 in the morning till say lift weights and run some days, but I'm also going to swim at lunchtime. I know I need to eat something like 9 o'clock in the morning so I can digest it properly so I can swim at 11:45 a.m. and not have food in my body. So, I have to look at what I'm eating that has some carbs there because I can't just have a steak and go swimming because it takes long for me to digest that. So a few things there to dive into, but I'm going to move on. So going back to this again, what exactly is fasted exercise, right? So fasting means 0 calories. So anytime you have a supplement, anything that might have calories except for amino acids don't count, a break in a fast. Black coffee doesn't count, break in a fast, but in theory, it should just be water only. Exercising in a state of glycogen depletion is what fasted exercise is. So after 8 to 12 hours overnight fast, the liver is empty of glycogen. Say 300 to 400 calories is what you have stored in your glycogen storage tank. We begin to tap into these muscle glycogen stores. Protein repair mechanisms begin to kick in as growth hormone and testosterone start to raise. So even if we are fasted 44 to 5 hours as eating lunch and then going to work out before dinner, here's some examples Ben said. So intermittent fasting, 8 to 12 hours as 8 p.m. stop eating, and then you don't eat lunch till 1 or 2, then you have dinner at 7. Ideally exercise early in the evening when the body's in prime condition. Fasted from lunch to hard exercise session, then wait to eat 1 to 2 hours post-workout. Easy morning walk, swim, sauna is how you ideally want to start the day. We naturally have a cortisol spike. It should be highest in the morning to wake us up and get us going. So we don't need to add more stress to raise our cortisol above that ideal range by adding in a stressful workout upon waking that activates our sympathetic nervous system, because cortisol, as I said, is already naturally elevated in the morning. So you want to save that harder workout to early in the afternoon if you have a choice when your body's in peak state to work harder. So Ben suggests waiting 1 to 2 hours post-workout to eat to take advantage of post-workout. Your testosterone and growth hormone levels are a little higher. So you can do, I don't know, the slide's screwed up, but if you can eat after noon and then work out in the evening, but fasted in the morning, you do 8 to 12 hours or 12 to 15 hours overnight fast. That's usually okay. So that was kind of, don't read off the slide, bad thing to do. I need to just talk for myself. So 10 benefits of fasted exercise. Ben talked about this in a seminar he gave, so you can go back and find that on the Ben Greenfield Life Show. But burning more fat, anti-aging effect, better brain function, increased growth hormone levels, improved insulin sensitivity, increased testosterone, enhanced fat loss, better endurance, more stable gut during exercise, hunger management. So I think when you read this as an endurance athlete, you say, hey, I am doing all my workouts fasted. I want to lose more weight. I want to enhance my fat loss. I want to improve my endurance. So why wouldn't I do all my exercise fasted? Well, too much of anything can cause damage, right? The Goldilocks effect. So what is fat, fasted exercise, and fat oxidation, 24 hours post-fasted morning exercise. So if you do the exercise that they talk about here to improve fat oxidation is what you need to listen here for. 30 to 45 minutes of low heart rate. It means easy swim, yoga, walking, hiking, something simple, not running at 150, 170 heart rate fasted. That is not what we're talking about. So to get these benefits to burn more fat, we want to ideally start the day with a fasted workout that is something, say, if we're doing that zone 1 pace, we're keeping that heart rate low. So increase fat oxidation rates for 24 hours post-fasted exercise before breakfast can help you. But remember, more is not better does not mean high intensity workout. So that's where I think everyone's getting in trouble with. They're doing fasted exercise that's way above zone 1 workout. So you want movement throughout the day, have your biggest meal around lunch, and get outdoors as much as possible and get out to that sunshine. But this is a healthy way to start your day, fasted workout, go have a shower and a cold plunge after that, or 30-second shower blast to wake you up. That's how we should start our day. But I think what's happening is we're doing too much of this fasted. So I'm not going to dive into the blood sugar, insulin resistance, chronic stress. Important to go over what is balanced whole foods plan. You know, the goal, what I tell people is the goal is to eat whole food, nature's food, ancestral diet that balances your blood sugar, that prevents hypersecretion of insulin. A food that stabilizes my glucose may spike your glucose, so we want to test and not guess which foods are best for you. Nutrient dense, but looking at not having huge spikes, more than 30 on your Keto Mojo, your blood glucose test, or your NutriSense, that you don't go too high. So there's benefits of fasted exercise and aging you can dive into, fasted exercise and hormones can look at. But I think what I've found is clients I'm getting as I focus on this area and doing functional lab testing and looking at people's training peaks and looking at the NutriSense and really figuring out what plan is best for them, because they are putting themselves in adrenal exhaustion. Clients are lowering their thyroid, they're depleting their body of nutrients, they're just becoming a mess. And I want you to be able to thrive as you get older and still continue to race and do events that you like to do, and not get into the position that I did by doing this too much. Because remember, I was doing the low carb and fasted workouts 15 years ago. And then after I got my adrenal exhaustion, I got back into doing fasting and OMAD and not eating and still training and set myself back again. So I'm on a mission to help you avoid going through what I went through. So if you get up in the morning and do a hard workout, you want to make sure your body doesn't feel like it's being chased by a lion. So women, especially, we're talking to you female athletes, of adding a small workout snack that's non-insulinogenic, that's not going to spike your glucose and get insulin released. You can have something as essential aminos as Keon aminos, 20 grams, which is a lot of capsules, or put their drink mix in water. Have some MCT oil, or I like to do Laird's coffee creamer in my coffee and add some collagen MCT oil from Bubs is another option. But we need to watch that kisspeptin hormone if it gets down regulated, because our body thinks it's under stress. So it's protecting itself because our body is smart. Female bodies puts reproduction first. Even if you're not even trying to get pregnant, it still do that. So an easy morning fasted workout, one done in moderation, can increase testosterone, as well as doing that cold plunge at the end, but not doing something crazy hard that you're going to be starving before and after. So if you're hungry, eat. If you feel, that's what I've been doing something for myself lately. If I feel like, oh, I'm kind of hungry, because if I did something the night before that's a hard workout, or I worked out more that previous day and didn't eat much, you'll feel it the next day. So remember that recovery day is when your body needs more nutrition, more protein. So yes, we'll enhance the fat loss, but lifting heavy weights and getting your protein and staying in that fat burning state, and then sometimes get out of that. So your carb timing and having a day that you're more into carb metabolism, that keto flex type of plan that Ben Azadi talks about, that's going to be important. So we want to up-regulate fat enzyme conversion. So if you do the fasted easy exercise with cold to upregulate the conversion of white fat to brown fat, that is a great way. And if you listen to Ben Greenfield talk about cold therapy lately, he's been broadcasting that a lot more in the past couple of years too, but it's really the importance of that cold therapy, just doing that short, I think 30 seconds on my face is good enough sometimes, but just having low intensity exercise in the morning is really what I want to stress. So easy exercise, 30, 45 minutes, low heart rate in the sunshine, finished with 5-minute cold shower, cold plunge lake, or cryotherapy, though they say you don't get your head wet in cryotherapy, so it's not as effective. Train low, race high. So for athletes, to better use of our fatty acids, we want to train low, train that body metabolize fat, and race higher heart rate that you can take in carbs, and that will be your backup fuel tank if you're racing, right? So if you're doing a training run and you're doing a marathon or triathlon, you're not racing, the fuel plan is different for you than it's going to be someone that's trying to PR and be anaerobic or slightly anaerobic threshold pace for the race. So we got to look at your training, but then look at how are you going to race day? Are you trying to hit it hard and place in your age group, or are you just trying to finish? So that's going to change it a little bit as well. So upregulating enzymes take glucose, convert to storage of glycogen, better glucose sparing, better use of fatty acids, less steep of glycogen stores used during exercise. So you're not going to deplete the glycogen stores, is what it's saying. So carbohydrate depleted training is what we're doing when we train low. And then we take carbs before a workout, a race. So it's that strategic carb timing we talk about. And Peter Defty and I recorded a few podcasts on that a year ago. So example of a hack to increase endurance. So keep in nutritional ketosis during the day as long as not genetic SNP says PPARG, which I'm doing the wild health coaching certification right now. It'll take me all year to do it, probably at the rate I'm going, but this is a popular one to look at if you are doing too much saturated fat. But PPARG, genetic SNP, we want to not do as high saturated fats. Okay, add in sweet potatoes, white rice, yams, safe starches. So you can look at resistant starches like cooked and cooled potatoes, sweet potatoes, safe starches, healthy carbs before a race. The body soaks them up when the glycogen stores are depleted. Depending on your physical activity, if a weekly refeed or a nightly refeed with 100, 200 grams of carbs at night, intermittent fasting, then you do no carbs in the day, then add carbs the evening meal, as Ben Greenfield's hack, he talks about just staying low in nutritional ketosis during the day, get out of it at night, have more carbs at evening. You'll have that fuel for a harder workout the next day. So something to go back and look at previous podcasts with Ben, and then our other podcasts I put into videos here on the YouTube channel. Look under the playlist, and I put them on my solo cast in the playlist. Another thing I wanted to mention, taking care of your gut. So I do functional lab testing. Ideally, I have a client run a comprehensive blood chemistry, Dutch hormone panel, which is urine, GI map or Genova diagnostic was just stool tests for your microbiome, and then a hair tissue mineral analysis, HTMA. And then if we want to do a food zoomer, food sensitivity test, Vibrant Wellness I like, or Cyrix Lab. Then we get 5 labs, all different things showing clues to something else. So just running a blood chemistry test just tells me I need to run other tests. It just says you need to do GI map. So if you're going to do one test, GI map or Genova diagnostics, then we can tell a lot, because so many of you have poor digestion. So many people have H. pylori. They have dysbiosis, parasites, bacteria overgrowth, a lot. So we want to know what's going on, test and not guess before we figure out a protocol. But Assume you have dysbiosis, assume you have leaky gut if you don't want to spend the money on knowing what exactly is going on under your hood. But keep the gut less permeable, especially exercising in heat that can lead to leaky gut and gastric distress. So we don't want to have leaky gut. Obviously, holes in your gut wall lining is not a good thing. So consuming foods that don't need to be digested before your workout is a good tip. Essential aminos, MCT oil, electrolytes, vitamin C. Supporting the gut with L-glutamine, colostrum, and bone broth are super powerful foods. And avoid heavy foods that need to be digested to stabilize the gut. So looking at S fuels is what I like to have for fuel plan. We'll talk to Leighton again, but listen back to a recent podcast I did with him on fueling with S fuels. So fasted exercise guidelines. So exercise, if you're exercising before breakfast, what do you do? When do you eat? So if you exercise before breakfast, you don't need to include carbohydrates in that meal unless you're doing a 2-day workout within the next 8 hours that's going to be more anaerobic. You can wait until the end of the day to restore carb levels. So that refeed in the carb evening meal, getting the glycogen in the evening meal if needed, matching your fueling and training that day. So if your workouts are more anaerobic, you're doing some HIIT training, doing some tempo work, speed work, then you do a carb refeed. And we also want to, keep metabolic flexibility. So we have good fat metabolism and carb metabolism. That's why you just don't want to be strict keto, because those people are doing all fat and protein. Their digestion of carbohydrates get to be out of whack. So nothing, all or none. And that's what Keto Flex is about from Ben Azadi and other people are talking about, and Jay Feldman. So we want to be able to metabolize carbohydrates. So you don't use it, you lose it, right? So easy walk in the sunshine, 30, 45 minutes, low heart rate is movement, finish with cold therapy, eat lunch, and then save your harder workout late in the afternoon, waiting a couple hours afterwards to eat your dinner. So if you have a flexible work schedule and when you eat, you can do your easy workout and then your hard workout, say 3 o'clock. So, and then you eat your dinner, stop eating 3 hours before bed. So females, we find best to do a 12 to 15 hour fast. If you're really adrenal fatigue, high stress, low cortisol, HP axis dysfunction, we want to go about 12 hours and get some nutrition into your body because it's under stress mode. And then men are okay going 16 hours fasted. So what's the best type of exercise to do fasted? Well, that's going to be what we're talking about, depends on the intensity. So pre-workout option, having some essential aminos, electrolytes, and some ketones. You can do that in water capsules or in your coffee. Lean female athletes, again, we're going to repeat this over and over again. Kisspeptin hormone, you got to be careful on not eating enough. So that low energy availability. You don't want to do fasted exercise the week before your cycle. Late luteal phase is say around day 20 to 28. Maybe at best performance-wise to have a little calories that's having some aminos in your water and some LMNT, something like that. Glycogen depleting workout. So if you're doing a workout that's more higher intensity, some high HIIT workouts, so your heart rate goes up high and low, you're working on depleting your glycogen a little more. So you're going to have drop in amino acids. You may not be carb depleted, but you may just feel more performance gains with having some aminos during your workout. So decrease your intensity. If low level aerobic endurance, the fatty acids she should be using for fuel. Powerlifting is more creatine phosphate system, is at 10 to 30 second hard efforts. Doesn't seem to lead to decrease in performance. So if you are doing low level maffetone, zone 1, zone 2 workout, the max aerobic function heart rate, or powerlifting, that workout is probably okay fasted. But if you are doing metabolic intervals, CrossFit hard workout session, a 2 to 4 minute, like my spin class I've been doing Wednesdays, it's doing 2 to 8 minutes of longer sessions, burning more lactic acid, using more glycogen. So that's when you want to not do that fasted. So you want to look at the intensity, the performance level. Not eating can decrease your performance, and you can't go as hard. Say you're doing a power workout on the bike, looking at your watts and trying to get more power output. If you're fasted, you might see struggling a little bit. So add a little something in your coffee is my secret tip. What I ate the night before, I'm trying to not be so strict and not eating after 3 o'clock because I go to bed at 8, having something before bed if I worked out to help fuel my Wednesday hard spin workout, especially Tuesdays. I've been trying to do track and they're not ideal to do back to back, but that's when it's scheduled. So I have to really work on my fueling to improve my performance. So you have to ask yourself, what's the point of the fasted workout? Am I getting faster? Am I getting stronger? Am I getting more power? Am I getting leaner? Are you losing body fat? How's your sleep? How's your stress level? So check that out. Those are some thoughts. Again, women tend to burn more fat after workouts if they have a little carbs beforehand and then fast after the workout. So that ends up kind of being my schedule. If I get home, shower for my workout, I get started and work, and then I wait till I'm hungry to eat. Feels pretty good for my body, but I'm also low thyroid right now. So maybe I need to eat more. So take a little carbs before your workout. Again, Laird's superfood pumpkin spice creamer is pretty yummy. And I tried their cocoa one. Men fasted before, if they go to a workout fasted, then eat afterwards, they seem to burn more fat than women. So women burn more fat and can, usually we have higher fat burning and endurance workouts. We can go longer than men, but we can just have a little bit of carbs beforehand. And Dr. Stacy Sims talks about that as well. So remember, becoming fat adapted, keto adapted athlete can take 1 to 2 years to feel the difference in a fasted state. I've been doing this for 15 plus years. Let's see, what year is it? 2023. I started going into low carb 2005 and then fasted workouts 2009. So I think it's been a while. So the fat adapted process can take 2 to 6 weeks, but to do fasted workout sessions, training and racing takes time to build adequate mitochondrial density, fat burning efficiency, and beta oxidation to perform your best in a fasted state. So I will end on that. I think that's really important for you to look at. What is my goal here? Why am I training fasted? Am I trying to burn more fat? Am I lean? Am I strong? How's my HRV? If it's dropping, that's a good sign you're doing too much. If your blood sugar is higher, get your comprehensive blood test. What's your A1C? What's your homocysteine? What's your triglycerides level? Look at all these different labs. So we want to make sure we're looking at things. Now, taking ketone salts, I've been doing HVMN, IQ, essential amino acids from Kion, LMNT I like, or Redmond's Real Salt, but I get unsweetened. I think there's going to be a problem in the future of people doing too much sweet. And then I do Jigsaw Health Adrenal Cocktail is a good combination of vitamin C, potassium, and sodium. So that's really important in green tea. So those are some things you can do for fasted exercise. But remember, sometimes more is not better, less is more. And really looking at the problems people have as endurance athletes with fueling and training, you're doing too much of everything. So that is it for today. I just wanted to go over that and help you figure out what is best fuel plan for you based on your personalized nutrition program, your exercise, your stress, your sleep, your movement throughout the day, digestion, gut health, hydration, mineral balance. That hair tissue mineral test is amazing to put with your Dutch test and your GI map and your blood test and your stool test. So hydration, and then we've got happiness. Are you playing? Are you laughing? Are you letting loose? Are you just wired too tightly and so anxious and worked up all the time? Big red flag. So let me know if you have questions. Head to debbiepotts.net to grab those free ebooks and let me know your questions for upcoming show and share this with your endurance friends so we can help everyone be fit and healthy from the inside out. Avoid going through what I did 10 years ago. I'm here to stop you and invest in your health and do something now before it's too late. Thanks.